it's an all day sitting with the Jukai ceremony in the afternoon. And if you can sign up, you will make the Enos and everybody who's organizing. I mean, come if you can. We want you to come, and if you're coming, sign up so that will help them get organized, and we can all be there to support the 4 people that are doing formally taking Bodhisattva vows. And
Who is the registrar? You. I think I signed up at the very beginning of the month.
You signed up and I sent you a note.
That's right.
You're all
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
I needed a refresher.
so we're doing koans. And we're using Zen echoes, and commentary by 3 female Zen women teachers. But I'm also calling on commentaries from, I brought on Tuesday, but I'll just tell you, is the traditional commentaries of the Book of Serenity, the Blue Cliff Records, and the Mumon Khan. And I'm calling on all of them, and you'll see today too. But I thought that what Miaozhong and the 3 women are referencing are from the Blue Cliff Records, the Mumon. This doesn't mean anything to. Anyway, I'm just going to say it anyway. The Mumon Khan wasn't in existence. So when Mahjong was doing these, when the 3 of them were doing their commentaries, so it's all rooted in the Blue Cliff Records, which is more Rinzai based. The Book of Serenity is more Soto Zen based. The one we're doing today is a Zen story, and it's in the Blue Cliff Records and in the Mumon Khan. But I just wanted to share this, that what they were calling on Mahjong originally was from an anthology in the 13th century called the Comprehensive String of Pearls Collection of Praise Verses. The Comprehensive String of Pearls Collection of Praise Verses. So it's all just a string of pearls, and it's all really about praise, which is really kind of beautiful. So now I'm going to do a commentary before we start. Is at the beginning of the year, we did the Metta Sutta, which is early Buddhism, Pali, which is very, I mean, in a certain way, it's very specific. It says, be upright, be sincere. May all beings be happy. This is the way to live. And it's very beautiful and very encouraging. Koans are a little different. But they're not different. It's the same thing. They're Zen stories passed down over time to let us know that metta is the true nature of the world. It's the true nature of everything. And we all just we're human beings. We're all a little confused. Greed, hate, and delusion, you know? So while the early teachings were really about how to wake up in the midst of this suffering Saha world, the Zen koans and the Zen is more, it's already here. It's already here. Just come back. So it really is, in Joanna Macy's language, about presence. Which is Zazen is very physical, it's very embodied. This isn't some idea. I mean, of course you work with it in your mind, but fundamentally it's these koans you'll see, and I'm going to go into them now. They're physical. They're just simple activity, simple meeting. And then there's all this beautiful poetry and praise and pearls and pearl drops and Just so. In the midst of this amazing June day. Don't miss it. It's right here. It's everything is singing the praise of everything else. That's easy. It's not so easy when you hear and feel what's happening in LA. And it's not going to be so easy for anybody who goes to the protests on Saturday or in whatever way you choose to, with your body, heart, and mind, say, don't you understand? It's all about love and care. It's the Metta Sutta. So that is our job. That's a bodhisattva's job, a joyful job, is how do we embody this no matter what? It's so easy. I mean, it's just feeling the sunlight out there doing keening today. It's like, oh my goodness, what an incredible joy to be alive, and the sound of the fountain and whatever you all were experiencing. And we practice as continuous practice because, as we all know, life isn't always going to give us what we want. And it's often going to be uncomfortable. So how do we not necessarily sing praise, but also be praise of, I'm here with all beings, waking up with everybody, wherever I am, and whatever mind state I'm in. I mean, like if you're afraid Buddha, if you're afraid, be afraid Buddha. That really turns the whole thing. If you're angry, what's angry Buddha? You get in the center of it and then it opens. Okay, that's my commentary. Thank you for listening. Okay, so now, so just for some people were here on Tuesday, some people weren't, and I'm not going to go back, but we did case number 1, which is essentially the world honored one gets up on his seat and he gets down from his seat. That's it, folks. And then Manjushri, who's the Bodhisattva of wisdom, says, it's just like this. It's just this. Zen doesn't give you a whole lot, but it gives you the whole world. It's like when you stand up, stand up. When you sit down, sit down. So what I'm going to do today is case number 8, which is, I couldn't find it in the Blue Cliff records as case number 8. I could find it in the Mumonkan. So what I'm going to do is give you the case as it's presented in Zen Echoes, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of Norman Fisher's commentary from the Mumonkan, but because Norman Fisher is Soto Zen, it's going to have the flavor of art school. And then what else was I going to do? You're going to be here for hours. Sorry, folks. It's all going to be really fun. And then I want to just present the three women, the commentary. So we just get a taste of it. So it happens on Vulture Peak, which is where Buddha gave most of his, where he gave his talks. And the star of it, besides the Buddha, is Mahakashapa, who it's the story of the first transmission story. Mahakashapa was a senior disciple. Here is the koan as it's described in Zen Echoes. The first Indian patriarch, the venerable Mahakashapa, saw the world honored one, the Buddha Shakyamuni, the Buddha beyond Buddha, at the assembly on Vulture Peak, hold up a flower. And then his eyes, like blue lotuses, looked around the great assembly at 100,000 sages and saints. Blue lotus eyes. I've never heard that description before. I really like that. Buddha eyes at Vulture Peak, which is actually pretty small. And also, you're in another realm already. I mean, it's you already are in the realm of suchness, isness, that's right in the middle of everything. And so Buddha holds up a flower in this very world, and Mahakashapa broke into a smile. That's it, folks. Okay, here's a little bit more. The world honored one then spoke. I have the treasury of the true Dharma I, the marvelous mind of nirvana, the true form of the formless, and the subtle Dharma gate of liberation, which I am now entrusting to you. You must take care of it. Take care that it is transmitted and never allowed to be cut off. Just held up the flag, and Mahakashapa smiled. That's the true teaching. The ineffable gate of Dharma. Nirvana. Okay. So stay curious. So I'm going to do probably a little commentary on Norman Fisher's commentary. He says, validating what was probably your experience. This seems hard to explain. But when you have a personal living feeling for the Buddha's essential spiritual point, it's not that hard to understand or to explain. Someone holds up a flower, a beautiful, delicate, very temporary, and beautiful because it's temporary flower, and you understand right away. Something so beautiful and ephemeral. Zen describes itself as a special transmission outside scriptures, the true treasury of the true teaching, the ineffable mind of nirvana, just as in the koan. You're not going to get it from something written down. It's enacted each moment. And then he goes on to say, which is nice, that's probably true of all real spiritual truths. You know, whatever tradition you're in, you go to church, you go to temple, you go to wherever you are. I mean, of course, there's teachings, and of course, there's sutras or scriptures, but it's the living of it. That was for me why then made so much sense of why I landed here. It's because there was a way to live it and be it, which there is in every tradition, but this one's so simple. You just sit down. You just stand up, you sit down. Okay, you hold up the flower, you smile. Maybe I'm just simple-minded, but I was so happy when I found this. And then he goes on to say that, you know, in the Buddha's final teaching in the Parinirvana Sutra, he doesn't pass on, he doesn't say believe in this. He doesn't say this is what you have to remember. These are the teachings that I've given to you. Now would you please write them down and recite them every day. What he says is be a lamp unto yourselves. Be a lamp unto yourself. What is that? That's his teaching. That's holding up the flower. The whole world is holding up a flower or holding up something each moment. And what's the appropriate response? We come to practice because we know we need something beyond our own experience and intelligence. It's not that we need to trust something outside our intelligence or experience. It's just that we need another way, another access point. The story of the Buddha twirling a flower speaks to this alternative access point. And then he goes on to say that in early Buddhism, a little bit what we've been talking about, is that Buddha, the story of the Buddha is he woke up in the midst of suffering, and I mean, he had this whole journey and he practiced really hard, and then he woke up, and then he had this experience, and then he created, and he spent about 45 years refining his discussion of his experience and creating a social structure for an organized community that promoted it. That's what the Buddha did, created Sangha, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. But then, and I'm looking at Constance, because when she said we did the Lotus Sutra. the wildly extravagant, beautiful, poetic Lotus Sutra, and we're soon gonna, in the next practice period, go into the Avatamsaka Sutra. You thought the Lotus Sutra would blow your mind, the Avatamsaka Sutra, anyway, we'll get there. But it was it was really different from, there was like one Buddha, and this is what Buddha did, and Buddha woke up and became the Buddha. The Lotus Sutra just blows that open, and Buddha says, and lots of people, they say 500 people walked out, that was just skillful means, because you needed to believe that I was just a human being, and that I did it, you're a human being, but there have been Buddhas across time and space, and they're always here all the time, awake and awakening. Nirvana isn't a state to be attained at some future time through long effort. This is really radical. Can you imagine that if you really believed, and you were a senior person, and you devoted your whole life to really, really working hard, and you thought that you were an arhat, and that you had attained nirvana, or that you were going to get it any minute, and then somebody says to you, that's not really it, sorry. In fact, nirvana is the real nature of things, and so no method and no cultivation is or ever was necessary. Just holding up a flower would be enough to evoke all of the teachings, all truths, and no more is needed. And we also know it's really nice. I mean, I was feeling once again really grateful that I got to study this. Sometimes I think, oh God, now I have to figure out what we're going to talk about. And then I sit down and I think, this is so cool. I can't believe that I get to look at this and study it once again and turn it and bring it forward so that you guys can turn it, so that the whole world, and that it, in any time, but especially in this time, it seems as relevant and important to me. It just feels so important to me. So, two crucial things in the Mahayana was suchness, just thisness, and skillful means. That if you are in the suchness, isness, just thisness of it, skillful means will arise. You'll find appropriate response, which is different than, I mean, there's some, I mean, I'm following this because I care, but I'm also really curious leading up to, because things are so awful, it seems to me, what's happening in LA. And then there's all these protests that are going to happen on Saturday, and the potential. And people aren't trained. You know, I was listening on the way in, is that during the civil rights movement, people were so trained. And here it's just, and I can see all of you looking worried. And presence. One person, each person in the midst of all of this has incredible agency as Buddha to Buddha. Just show up. I mean, wherever you are, show up. Feel your feet. Breathe. If you're afraid, ground in the midst of being afraid. That's all. It's not that's all, but that's the practice. This is what we do. Which is okay. We'll help each other. And as we do that, it ripples across the whole universe. So the Buddha appears not from karma, but due to one great causal condition. You want to know why you're here, Buddhas? The interdependent nature of existence and non-existence, a field whose true shape and purpose is love. That's what we're waking up to. That's what this is all about. Is being just that which already is. Which is why you do these things like take vows and things like sow rakusus, or just come to Sangha, or just in your daily life, just try to be kind. Far from being a world of trouble, and tears as it appears to be this world of existence, non-existent, seen in the light of suchness and lived according to skillful means, is in reality a world of awakening and love. But beings don't know this. We are awash in a sea of suffering. But reality's true trajectory is towards relieving this suffering through love. We know that, right? That's why we're here. That's what we're helping each other do. This is our joyful bodhisattva job. It's like, wow, how lucky are we? There are only points of meeting. Buddha holds up a flower. Mahakashapa smiles. Meeting. Something happened. There were hundreds of thousands, I mean, how that all, it was Mahakashapa. There was something that happened in that moment. Just that particular moment. Everything is just points of meeting. That's what the story is about. Everything is in the case we did on Tuesday, is just the Buddha standing up and the Buddha sitting down. It's just you being completely you. This is it. Nothing is separate and alone. This is how things are. This is compassion, just presence, not merely an extra something one of us feels for another, but existence itself. Being is by its nature sharing and loving. And we realize this not as a teaching or a concept or a method we can work at and finally grasp, but through mutual recognition, our mutual shared awakening, through seeing each person as Buddha. Each person. It's a field far beyond, you know, when we do the robe chant, it's a field far beyond form and emptiness. That's why, I mean, that's, you don't have to do any of this stuff. I do this stuff because it reminds me. Because I'm as deluded as anybody else, and I can be as triggered as anybody else into anything. I mean, I've got a little more space in here than I did 50 years ago, but we all just need reminders. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing here. That's what we're important. That's what's the most important thing. And it may be a flower being held up, or it may be, I don't know, just feeling the person next to you, or seeing the suffering of somebody who's being put into a position to play a role that they don't want to be there either. You know, we don't know. Or maybe somebody does want to be there, but that's just their karma, and we're just here together because they is thus. Anyway, you guys all get it. Life so miraculous, so unlike the way we think it is, that you crack up, which is what Mahakashapa does. Is there are moments, right? There are moments where you just look at it and you can't believe there's so much suffering, and you can't believe that we're actually all enacting and doing this thing, and it's so tender, and it's like Thich Nhat Hanh's half smile, or the Buddha's half smile, or just Mahakashapa. Okay, that's somebody. Also, it's just sometimes tenderly, I think sometimes if the gods, if they were gods, they're sitting someplace and they're crying and they're laughing. It's like, oh, can you believe what they're doing this time? You'd think they'd have it by now. It's just like, oh, and then you just get more tender. Okay, I'm getting there. There's nothing special here, nothing extra is needed. Life transmits life, time transmits time. And it is human to take up the responsibility for this, and it's necessary. It is what we are all struggling with and what we're all working with. Everybody. Everybody's problem. Everybody's doing the best they can, you know? There's workers that are just going to work. And there's people who are going and rounding them up and it's like, oh my goodness. Let's all just keep taking a breath. Just this. So here's the commentaries from the three women teachers. From Maijan. The iron, I don't know how to pronounce it, I looked it up, Kankei, which is a pillar around his neck, weighs 300 caddies, one could say. It seems to me that it's like an oxen. It's like we're all oxens wearing these really heavy things around our necks, dragging around these great big loads of life. She says, clearly distinguished and understood, but not easily carried out. It's like you can look at it, you can go, yeah, that's what it feels like, carrying the weight of all of this. You can see it and you want to wake up in the middle of it, but actually carrying it out. With a somber face and skinny legs, he sits in front of the peak. Like Buddha, the early, like, I can do this, I can wake up, I see it, I got it. That, I mean, I'm sure that's not Buddha, but that's, anyway, that's. And the fight, and once again, the golden robe deceives those who follow after. You somehow think there's some golden robe, some golden rule, some golden something that's gonna alleviate all this. Like, get me out of here. Can't we just get it? It's all the things that then we get afraid, and then we get judgmental, and just. There's something else going on here. This is her commentary, you're just holding up a flower. It's not what you think. Okay, here's Zen Master Bauchi holding up a flower. Buddha generously illustrated the truth, causing just this one ascetic adept, Mahabhajapati, to break into a smile. The romances of millennia and the resentments of ages. The way I read that is romances have been going on forever and ever. You know, it's just we all want this romantic world. It's like it's got to be out there somewhere. And the resentments of ages, and then we're simultaneously doing resentments all the time. I mean, do you watch your own mind pendulate like that? We got it. No, we don't. I don't know. And then it's just this. It's right here. It never goes away. Zen Master Zuki. Spring is filled with white blossoms everywhere one turns. But to frivolously hold one up would be to lie and deceive. Even though his smile reveals the nose you were born with, before you know it, your whole body will fall into the net. The whole world is full of you can do what you want with all of this, and you will. I'll give you time in a minute. But the whole world is just, it's full of, it's blossomed, it's alive, it's already blossomed and it's blossoming and it's beyond any blossoming. So you hold one thing up and say, this is it. I mean, that's what we're gonna do. It was, well, that moment was that. They had it, we don't have it. That's a lie and a deceit. To do that, to think this story is about something outside of us, or to set it up as outside of us. Even though the smile reveals the nose you were born with, it's like it's as clear as the nose on your own face. Is Buddha had to hold up the flower and Mahakashapa had to smile. That's a beautiful story. I mean, these things happen and they're real or as unreal as anything, and they're true, they're teachings. But it's as clear as it's each thing. It's each moment. And you get it. I got it. And then before you know it, your whole body will fall into the net. Kerplunk. I had it a minute ago. There was this beautiful flower and it was ephemeral and it opened up the whole world and everything blossomed and I really understood it. And then I wish that person over there would just stop doing what they're doing. It's a different body when I just did that. My whole body just fell into the net. Okay. Our actual lives as they are, this is it, this is the Buddha. Everything comes into existence, one great causal condition. The purpose for being born is to actualize relieving suffering through love. To express our hearts, the one truth, it's not something outside of our lives, it is life. And we awaken to it through relationship, through meeting, through interrelationship, through a love, through the 10,000 things coming forward to awaken us. Okay, now I'm gonna stop, except I'm gonna say Dogen for just a minute. Dogen commented on this. When you open your hand, it is just right. When your body is activated, it immediately appears. Truly, after Mahakashapa broke into a smile at Vulture Peak, the 28 Indian ancestors could not add even the slightest thread. The true point of the singular transmission is not known. Just open your hand, open your mind, open your mind. What's the appropriate response? What's needed here? Okay, thanks for letting me go on my little riff about, I love this story. So what's this story teach you? And maybe you could even, if you want to be really personal about it or particular about it, maybe you could imagine a moment where something just this. Sitting outside the other day, we have a hummingbird feeder and this, I can't remember what Bruce said it was, but this amazing yellow and red and black bird that we've never seen before flew in, appeared in the light and then it just disappeared. It's like, what was that? Where did that come from? Or it might be something really small, like a light beam, on your kitchen table. So, okay, you don't have much time because I talked too long, but go ahead, go into groups of 3 and what's all this? How does it speak to you? Turn it, do your own commentary. And I'm gonna